Okay, here we go. So welcome to week 2. And week 2 is the second session about getting listings and the listing presentation. So February is about the listing presentation. January last week was about market statistics and the market conversation. And what we were going to do is go into info stats or info sparks, depending on what MLS you're with, and share some a good social media post on the market conversation. So the market conversation is what we always start off most of our sales conversations with. So it could be I'm meeting with a buyer, I'm going to do a listing presentation, I get a call in, I get a request on a website, because everybody that's getting into the market, they want to know, is now a good time to buy? Is now a good time to sell? So they want to know these things. That's what we covered last week. So if you didn't get a chance, listen to that video. It's worth it. Today, we're going to talk about pricing. So today is about the actual CMA itself. And we are also going to have that market conversation again when we first meet with someone. So this is today, average CMA has 6 similar properties. So when you're thinking of doing a competitive market analysis, just think in the back of your head, I have this one house, I'm going to come up with a price. If I had a buyer, what other houses would I show this person that are similar? Okay, that's kind of what a market analysis is. It's looking at this one house and saying, gee, I wonder who's going to buy this house and what other houses would they want to look at? So you're positioning the house to be competitive in the marketplace. So let's start with an overview. Okay. And in this case, I went back 180 days for the average price in the counties in Connecticut. So if I was in Northwest Florida, I would look at Northwest Florida areas. If I was in Naples, I would look at Naples and Fort Myers, those areas, and compare them because people like to see what's happening compared to other towns. So right now I am looking at the entire MLS, that's blue. Hartford County is green. New Haven County is brown. And Fairfield County is red. So it looks like Hartford County is 522,000 on average. Close price for the last. Oh no, that's sorry. Here we go. So this here is 2023. This is 2024, and this is 2025. So it is the last month over the last 3 years compared, each month compared. Have prices gone up or down? And then it also, because it's InfoStats, it's not the last 30 days. It is the last what? Recorded 30 days that they have in InfoStat. So that's going to be December of 2025. So this is good information, but here we are on February 2nd, and probably they want to know what happened in January. So a lot of it's timing. InfoStats usually updates their data on the 15th of the month. So by the 15th of February rather, you will see the January pricing. But right now we're seeing the last month of the year. Christmas. So this is December. So for the entire MLS in Connecticut, 522 was the average price. And then in 2024, it was 562. And in 2025, December, it was 606. So these are December prices, which is like the worst time of the year to buy or sell a house. And then we have Hartford County, which is what West Hartford is in, and that was 377 in 2023, 409 in 2024, and 434 in 2025. So that's kind of the big picture. So if I was sitting with a seller about to talk about what their house is worth, my steps would be A, I knock on the door and I have a script that I always say when I knock on the door. Then they bring me in the house. Then I say, why don't we put everything down at the kitchen table and then you can show me the house. We put everything down at the kitchen table and then I have them show me the house and I have a clipboard. And as they're showing me the house, I am making notes. So I have a script that I do for that, which we'll do next week. Then we come back into the kitchen and we sit down and I look them in the eye and I put a smile on my face and I say, I love what you did in the master bedroom. That's amazing. And I'll point out some features that I love about the house. Always find something because they do not believe we can sell their house if we don't love it. So we have to talk about it. And then I'm going to look them in the eye and I'll say, I think we're not going to have a problem at all getting your house sold. And it is what I expected it to look like. I tell them that because if I'm doing a one-step listing presentation, that means I have not seen the house. This is my first time. So I want them to know that the numbers I pulled are, in fact, the right numbers. Two, if I go through the house and I find this house is much nicer than I thought it would be, I'm going to tell them that. So usually with a market evaluation, you have a low, a medium, and a high. You have a range, and that's a good way to correct the situation as you're sitting with them. But I don't talk about that yet because we just sat down. I tell them, I love the what you did with that closet in the master bedroom, and your kitchen is amazing. Something like that. Where did you get the countertops? And I'll ask them some questions to pull them in. Now, I'm going to say, you've probably heard in the news what's happening in the market. So let's just talk about what's happening in Connecticut. And then I'm going to have this conversation. Now, these numbers are for December because this is the way this data pulls. So I can't get January yet. But I'm going to tell you in the whole state, and then I'll go through the numbers, the last 3 years. And then I will look at Hartford County, which is theirs. And then sometimes this is New Haven County. They're going to want to compare it. Maybe they have friends that live in a New Haven County town. So I'll do that. I always pick four. So it depends on you, which ones you want to pick and where your house is located. And then this is Fairfield County. Fairfield County is the highest priced county in Connecticut, so that's a lot higher. And I want them to see it because that they hear from their friends and family that live all over the average prices in Connecticut. So this is a way to get them to understand what's happening locally. And then I'll pull the next info stats, which you guys all have in your MLS, through the MLS for free. And this is the next one. And these are average showings under contract for the same counties. So these are the number of showings until it goes under contract. So I just want to let you know the average house right now in the state has about 14.7 showings before it goes under contract. And we're talking Christmas. So even though this is not the average per year, this is just the month. So 14.7 is the state, 15.8 is Hartford County. And then I go to the next one, days on market. So how long do you think it's going to take to sell your house, Mr. Seller? Well, we were thinking whatever we're thinking. Okay, well, the good news is in Hartford County right now, our average days is 17. And we're kind of ahead of the curve here. So we're beating the rest of the state in the days on market. And I just kind of connect the dots. And then I go into the month. So I'm sure you're interested in what's happening this month. Now, I'm not getting into the CMA yet. I am just giving them an overview. And I'll tell them that. So I wanted to just share this with you, and I would print it out and bring it with me. This is the last 30 days in West Hartford, what is happening. So right now in West Hartford, in the last 30 days, there have been 200 and no, this can't be the last 30 days. This is the last. Um, I don't have it with me. Okay, it must be Hartford County, single family. Hold on a minute. West Hartford. Oh, this is the last 6 months. So this is what's happened in the last 6 months in West Hartford, just in the town. So you can see here the average list price is 560. The average house in West Hartford has 3 beds, 2 baths, and 2,023 square feet. That is 299.86 price per square footage sale price. The average house has about a third of an acre and was built in 1947. So we have a lot of classic homes here. And the average sale price is 594,387, which is 6.2% higher than 560,261. And that's over the last 6 months. So the average house is selling in the last 6 months for 6.2% higher than asking. Okay. And the average days on the market in this town is almost 16, 15.59. So that is what is happening in West Hartford. And this is the same information in Matrix. So I just wanted to show you, I know Rhode Island has Matrix and so does Naples. So it is the same information that you would pull in your MLS, only you would hit search and you're asking for single family only. And then you're going to do the average price. And we'll show you how to do this. So that's what it would look like if you're in there. And I'll help you with it. So I'm just going to stop for a minute, ask you guys, do you have any questions? And what are your thoughts about the way we're starting off this? Any ideas? Like, how do you feel?
So would you do 6 months? Is that normal time? That
Well, the
seems a
reason I'm not
lot.
doing 1 month yet, which I will do when I actually do the listing presentation, I'm not doing 1 month because we're in December. We're like the holiday just stopped. Today is February 2nd.
Right.
So it's not average. We're going into spring. So I want them to be excited.
Okay, so because we're so seasonal, would you do would you do a whole 6 months or 3 months or does it matter?
So I don't think I would, Valeria. I think I would do whatever makes sense to you.
Okay.
So whatever, you can wrap your head around and say this. So let me show you what's happening right now compared to the last 3 years.
Okay.
And the nice thing about the info stats is you're comparing month by month.
Did you put in 3 years or it's automatic?
It's automatic.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
So I'm gonna share with you how to do it again. We did it
Okay.
last week, but we're gonna do it
Yeah.
again.
All
So I'm
right.
gonna share my
Well, mine's
screen.
different than yours. So,
Okay, I am going to go. Let me think.
I
Can I
mean, I
go
can
in?
do that with you on a different day if it's easier.
It's actually the same. I think I can go into yours. Let me just check. Let me
Okay.
make sure I can get in there. So, Naples. Here we go. Oops. Hang on. All right, I have to wait for my code to be sent to me. You know what? I'll have you, let me just see. Okay. Okay. All right, so here I am in yours, and I am going to Info Sparks right here. Do you see that, Valeria?
No, are you sharing the screen?
Oh, no, that would help. Okay,
All right, so ours in Naples is called Info Sparks.
see, it's right here. I'm in Neighbor. I'm
Okay,
in.
yeah, got it.
Okay, so all of you have it as something in Smart MLS. It is called InfoSparks, but it looks like this in Connecticut.
Okay, so it's all called the same thing.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, and so I'll show you what I would do. So here I'm
Okay.
going to click on InfoSparks. And when we're here, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start here, overall Naples market. Now I'm going to add Naples. Now you can add whatever you want. All right, and then I'm going to add, what is another town?
Estero.
Estero.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, and then I'll add Fort Myers. Fort
Yeah.
Myers. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now, there's a toolbar in the middle here, okay? And the first one is, it says line, and I'm going to change it to bar. Okay, so bar is what you want, and that doesn't that make more sense for a bar?
Yeah. I think it's easier to read.
Yeah, and then it says 3 years here, and then it says monthly. So you
Okay.
could change that to 3 months or 6 months, whatever you want. But in the monthly, it's going to say somewhere on here that it's December. Let's see. And then I'm going to look at, I like these are our choices. So I'm going to select average for the sale price.
Closed price.
Yeah, for the close price. Okay, so let's look at Naples. So this is, I don't know, Naples something, and then this is the city of Naples, and this is the in orange. And then we have 2024, 25. Oh, and we have 26. So I must have good timing here because we now have January. So that's good. And we can compare the price. So the average price in Naples has gone up and it just went down a little compared to last year. 1325. Last year it was 1338.
Yeah, it's still like 90%.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. And then you have showings to pending here. So that's the number of showings before it goes under contract. Let's do average. And then we have showings per listing. So this is what they can expect. So it's a good overview. You don't have to go through them all, but whatever you want to share with them. So you guys are seeing my screen, right?
Yes. So then you can just print this out and bring it to your
Yeah,
presentation.
you
Is
can
that what you
print it
do?
out. And this is days on market. I think it's pretty good. So days on market in Naples has gone up a little bit, and people should know that. And you can also let's make sure we're just looking at single family. I always make sure it's just single family here. And then one or the other, depending on who you're talking to. So if you have a
Mhm.
condo, do condo only. And so all that what I want is up here. Now let's say I'm, a higher end. What I don't like is it's 369 or more. I think it should be like 700 or more if I'm getting into luxury. So you could make a change here
Okay.
and make it go higher because the higher price range has different days on market.
Right.
So overview, but we're just talking overview. We're not
Mhm.
talking about the CMA. You guys with me?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Then I am going to, let's see, how many people do we have today? 10. Okay. Would anybody like to try doing that themselves? Okay. I'm I'm going to go next.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to get into the CMA itself. Okay. And this is the house I'm doing a CMA on as an example. So when you're thinking of a competitive market analysis, a lot of people, especially good agents that have been in the business a while, they know what something's worth pretty much when they see it. And but we still have to prove to our client where we got our numbers from. And sometimes we're surprised. So I use this as this house here. I wanted to go with a property that hasn't been listed for 20 years. So I pulled some information, and this was the last time in 2004 this was listed. And this is what it looks like today. I got this from the Smart MLS. You could get this from Matrix. You can pull old listings and get information from it. So the first thing I would do if I was going after a listing is get all the data that I need. What else would I do? You guys have been doing this a while. So those of you that can chime in, chime in. Okay, I'm going to tell you. I would Google it. How many times have you gone to a house only to find out there's something happening in that neighborhood that you didn't know about? So you want to Google the house, Google the street, see what's going on with this house. Okay. So always do your research. It'll take seconds, honestly. Okay, so I Googled it and I found uh, a legal notice. So, oops, I'm trying to get rid of you. Yeah, all right, there we go. So I found a legal notice. So I Googled the address of the property. I found information in the news, and they wanted to put another dormer on their house, and it's in a historical area, so it had to line up with the neighborhood. So they had an article in the Hartford Courant about that. And then they have the information about taking out the notice and having a town hearing. So that was good to know. Then this is what the Hartford Courant said, and um, they were allowed to do it all. So just, interesting. At least there's not um, a nuclear power plant going up in the neighborhood or something like that. Okay. So next, I went to RPR. So you guys all have RPR,
Mhm.
and you can click on a house in RPR, and it will tell you what it thinks the house is worth. And it gets a real value market. It gets the information from houses that are not on the market, houses that are on the market. So it gets the information from a lot of different places. And it's, good to know. So I went to RPR and that's what it said. So let me just show you where RPR is so you guys have it.
So is this giving you information in the neighborhood or the property?
I just did the property.
So if
Uh,
your property's not for sale, it'll still show up all the information about it?
yep, yes, yep.
All right.
And this is where RPR is if you're in the Hartford County, in Connecticut. So it's always there. We all have it through the National Association of Realtors. So it's, a good thing to look at. And they actually have good CMAs in there, and you can get good information. Okay, so that RPR is telling me 715. Do I believe that this house in West Hartford is worth 715? So that is the question. So then I went to ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, based on the current real estate market in West Hartford, for the zip code, and I put the zip code of the property in and the address, what is the average sale price based on the fact that it's in good condition? What would be a good list price, a good market strategy, and how long will it take? And basically, it gave me this quick summary. So estimated list price between 611 and 754. Now, they bought it for 425 in 2004. So the other thing you could look at, what were the prices in 2004? What are they today? And that also is another factor you could look at if they have, just kept it up, not done any major renovation. Okay. So this is what it says. Sellers markets in strong demand. So we know that West Hartford is a strong demand. The average days on market is 7 to 21 days. Total time to close between 30 and 45. Strategy coming soon. Early exposure. Staging, competitive pricing, which is all kind of what West Hartford does. All the agents stage here. You're not going to see in West Hartford houses with pictures that don't look pretty good. Okay, so that is, I have two opinions right now, and I think, it's worth noting what they are. And this is what I would always do. I would always do these things before I actually go do a CMA. And now I'm going to do the CMA. And this is the overview. So you're going to have different states a little different. Your Naples is going to be different than um, the Panhandle, and different than Rhode Island, different than Connecticut, different than Massachusetts. So they're all a little different. Uh, but their principles are the same, and that is you have to find the guideposts that are the same in your town. So, or in your area. In Connecticut, our assessed values are one of those guideposts. Now, I know in Florida, they have homesteading, so they actually take money off the assessed value and the taxes. So that's probably not as good a strategy, but the other strategies would work that we're going to go through. But you can keep it in mind because I'll bet you most people that are buying and living in Naples do not do homesteading. Valeria, am I right? Do they take advantage of homesteading?
Yeah, it's majority second homes. So you have to have it as your first home to get.
Right. So most people in Naples, you can do the assessed value because of that. So, but just keep it in the back of your mind.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's considered a bonus if you can do that.
Right. Okay, so what are we going to look at? We are looking to get 9 properties. Sometimes I'll do more, sometimes I'll do less. I want one that is actually very similar that I can really say this is the house. And that's easiest if you have a condo. Sometimes it's hard to find this is the house because houses are unique. So, criteria, assess value range. Okay. Usually 10,000 either way. I'll go whatever the assessed value is. So if it was 100,000, I would do 90 to 110. If nothing comes up, I'll do 80 to 120. Try to get into that window. Then neighborhood. So I'll look just at the neighborhood. Then I'll look at those two that I just looked at. Were there any comparables I could use that are also similar in square footage and style? So as I'm doing each of these searches, I'm looking for properties, and then I'm going to write the MLS numbers down on the properties. And I just want to show you what I did because I always do it, and I think, where is it? Oh, hang on. I think I put it in my, here it is. So I'll show you what I always do. Okay. These are the MLS numbers. So as I see different ones, I write down the MLS numbers on an envelope or whatever I have near me. Okay. Because when I go in to do the actual CMA, that's what I want. I want all of these and I want to look at them together and decide what I want. So as I go through each search, I'm picking those houses that are similar based on these things. It could be the neighborhood, it could be the square footage and style, it could be the assessed value range. Age range is a big thing in most areas. So those are the things I'm looking at to start. So number one, assess value. I just said that. Number two, I'll look just at the neighborhood. Number three, I'll look at the two searches that I just did, see if I can find anything that have the same style and square footage. In some towns, it's not really neighborhood. It is like the neighborhood is the town. So you can do a search based on square footage, age, and beds and baths. Okay, so as you're doing these, what's happening to you when you're doing these 3 separate searches? Any ideas? You are internalizing the information. You are getting to know the market. You're not trying to take a shortcut. There's a lot of shortcuts. I know agents that just do RPR and that's it. Well, a savvy seller is going to have a problem with that. They want to know where you got that number. So, the average seller, you could probably get away with it if you're good, or if you've been in the business a long time and you know what all the comparables are off the top of your head. But most people want to know, where are you getting this information? Okay. So after I do the 4 separate searches and I write all the phone numbers down, then I start to look at what I have here. Okay, so here is the subject property, and this is the information that I need to have to do my CMA. And where do you get this information? The GIS, the town assessor card, tax information. Like in New England, we're old, so we have like old way of doing things, and we use the town assessor cards. You can Google, West Hertford town assessor cards, and you'll get this assessor cards. Other towns, areas, it's the GIS maps. So whatever it is where you can get the real tax information, you want to know the age, the assessed value, the taxes that from the last tax rate, the style. So this is a two and a half, this is a three level colonial. And it's funny because West Hartford has different areas where this is kind of like a famous style for them, three levels. And all the teenagers growing up in this area, I've been in many of the upstairs ones with my friends. So what's that then colonial? How many rooms altogether? And then how many bedrooms? And then how many baths? This only has 1.5 baths, so that's not typical for this style and this age and this price point. So that's a drawback, but it does have a garage back here. The town has it as a one-car garage, but there's enough room, I think, to even possibly have a two-car. Let's see. And then value adds. It's on a third of an acre too. Um, 3 floors. That's a good thing. New kitchens and baths, and it does have it's been restored, and it had this actually is a Victorian. So it is a Victorian, and it has a fireplace. So that's what I need to know. Now I'm going to try to find houses similar. So the first thing I do is I put in the assessed value. So a lot of you, the assessed value is not part of your search. So you have to find where you can add that. And I'm just going to share with you how to do that. Hang on. Okay. So in Florida, we're in Matrix. So we're going to do a search, residential. Okay. And then I'm going to put in Naples. And additional features add. So I'm clicking here. Can you guys see this? So here are the additional features in the lower left-hand corner. I'm clicking add, and I want to add assessed value. I don't see assessed value. Maybe it's already there. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Nope. Let me just see. Assessment page. Maybe they don't have it. All right. So if I can't find assessed value, I would do taxes. And let's see. And I would put the tax range, by 10,000 or not 10,000, by like 5,000 tax. And it doesn't have tax in here. Yes, it does. No, the
Would
tax.
it be under realistic tax
Yeah.
up top in the blue?
Up here. Oh, no, we don't want to go there. So I guess we don't have it here. It's funny because I've done it before. Ba, 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 ba. I know I'll find it when we're done. Land
Assessment.
value, sewer, water. Where are taxes? I don't know. Okay, so I will have to figure it out and I will get back to you on this. In Connecticut, It is search. You know what you could do, actually, Valeria, you could call a neighbor and ask them, how can I search by the assessed value or the taxes? And they will tell you. Um,
Jody, in Matrix in Rhode Island, it's under an additional field. So I don't,
oh,
yeah, just a,
okay. Let me go back there. So here's the assessed value field, add and remove fields. And then I would put assessed value here for Connecticut. Assessed value, add. Okay, and save. And then it's down here. And you can do the difference. So let me go, if it's there, let me see, maybe it is here. So it would be, yeah, I tried to do it add. So it's here, add, what's it called?
it's just called assessment in the additional fields. So it's not a preset.
Okay, we do have tax though. Tax description, tax year, total.
It wasn't under assessment for the Florida matrix.
No.
Hmm.
Association gas land. It has special assessment, but nothing just regular. And there's nothing about taxes either. Tax description. Total annually recurring fee. Oh, property. No, I don't know. Okay. So have something that you can go to. Whoops. And I put the taxes, the assessed value in here. And
I think we have to look it up in like Collier County tax.
yeah, it's not going to help you do what I'm trying to do here, though, because I don't really care. I want to know what the assessed value is, but I'm trying to compare um, properties. But we'll see when we get into the Moxie Present. We'll
Okay,
see
yeah.
the taxes, and you can compare taxes once you're in there. So you can do it there too. Whoops. Okay. All right. So this is the other thing I want to do for the seller. I want to find out in the last 30 days what was happening. So I did a search. Oh no, this is the based on the assessed value. So I put the assessed value in, I click search, view results, and then I see this. And then if you click on this little quick CMA up here, it tells me the stats. In um, in you guys, let me just go in there. Let's do Naples. And I'm going to do, and I'm going to just do like to keep the number down just the past 30 days. But this is not the assessed value. If I was doing the assessed value, I would do 6 months because there wouldn't be enough of them. So just to give you an idea of how to pull the data, I'm doing view results. Alexa, stop. And then I have all of the results here. And now down here, it says stats. Okay, so in your world, you would click stats and you would go tabular. Okay, and then you would see what is happening based on what you asked for. In our area, Hartford County, or in all of Connecticut, once I click view results, actually, I can go back to the based on the assessed value. I would then click the up here, the car, the quick CMA, and that will give me the data. Okay, and then so that's what I have shown here. So I click the quick CMA here and in the Connecticut MLS, and then I go to the next thing and it will say click quick stats and charts. And then it shows me based on the assessed value that I just pulled, the average list price, there's one house and it's on for 649. Okay. There are 31 closed houses and this is based on assessed value and the average price is 648. Okay, and then but this is going back 180 days, so 648. And then we have under contract and under contract continue to show, and we have average list prices. So under contract 2, 614. Oh, there's no under, maybe I didn't click the other one. So the average total is 646 list price and 690 sale price. So that's 6.53 over asking based on the assessed value. Now, keeping in mind, this house that I'm looking at has been restored. So it's a little nicer. They used nicer materials when they updated it, and it has 3 floors. So it has some charm that you might not find in some of these other houses. And it's a decent size. It's over 2,500 square feet, which for this town is high. The average square footage is about 2,000. So as I'm looking at the high, based on the assessed value, the high is, where's the high? Max 989. So the high is 989, the low is 499 based on the assessed value. And the assessors are like appraisers, only they use different data to come up with their prices, like how many chimneys, how many bathrooms, that kind of thing. But they do take into consideration neighborhoods and the things we use to appraise houses too. So I would lean towards higher than the 649 on this house, just knowing what I know about the town. All right. You guys with me? So that was assessed value. That told me some good stuff. So when I look at the assessed value and then I go, here's the list, and then I click the map here, these little arrows, it opens it up so I can see the map. And in the map, every map has this, there is a way to center the map. When you click on the map, you'll see the mapping tools. You won't see them until you click on the map. And then when you click on this little bullseye, and this is the same in most of them, that means you can actually put the address of the house in here. A drop down comes down, the address goes in, and then it shows me that's the subject property, that's the house, and these are the houses around the subject property. So while I'm here, if I hover over any of these properties, they open up and I can select it. Okay, also, based on the assessed value, I can do the quick CMA, and that's also where I can see here. What is the average? 731 is the average sale price, and 685 is the average list price. So for closed only, in the assessed value, there were only, oh, I know what I did. While I was here, sorry, I selected when I looked at these houses that are the most similar. So while I was looking at the map and hovering over them, as I looked at them, I selected them. And that is where I wrote down the MLS numbers for my CMA, because these all are similar to the subject property and they're in the neighborhood. But there's a filter, and the filter is the assessed value. So I'm not seeing everything. And based on the assessed value and the fact that they're similar, the average list price is 685 and the average sale price is 731. And the high is still 900 and the low now is 539. So in my mind, I'm starting to get a handle about what I think this is worth because I'm going through a learning curve by doing the research. Okay. Now, when you go into looking at the list, you can select this so you can see a little more about each house. And these are the houses that I selected. So Auburn is right around the corner. This was on for 539 and it sold for 626. Bonnie View, also close by, on the market for 649, sold for 660. Arundel on for 649, sold for 700. Auburn, so these are all close by, on for 650, sold for 635. And then Bonnie View, number 64, this is 34, on for 725, sold for 770. And then Sedgwick on for 899, sold for 900. So they were all within the assessed value range. But now I'm looking at them, I'm looking at the square feet. So if you remember our subject property, and I would have this written down in front of me, it's 2,534 square feet. It's 2.5 stories, 5 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, on 0.3 of an acre, assessed value 298. So when I'm looking at these houses, I'm going to be looking at that information. Which one of these are similar? Square footage, assessed value, and age. So ours was built in 1900, and these are all built around the same time frame. So when you're looking at time frames, when houses are built, have you noticed when you're showing houses that houses built in the 80s look a certain way? And then houses built in the 30s look a certain way. Houses built in up to 2000 look a certain, 2000. And then after 2000, they started doing the higher ceilings. So there are, what you're looking at architecturally is when the changes took place. Based on when the changes took place architecturally, bigger windows, bigger closets, higher ceilings, those kind of things, that makes a difference. So West Hartford, the whole town was average 1945. A lot of houses were built in the 30s, and the 30s is Art Deco. So there's a lot of character here. And that's what you look at. You're looking at houses that have that similar character that you can compare. And the house that our subject property is a Victorian. So, and Victorians are like, 1880 to not to 1900, which ours was built in 1900. And then you have the Art Deco started in the 30s or late 20s. So that's, has similar beautiful things. The Victorians have bigger rooms, and that's more appealing. So that is what I'm thinking, looking at these numbers. And then I'm going to go to the neighborhood. And I'm going to take out the filter, the assessed value, and then I'm going to see, does this neighborhood add value or take away value? Okay, and in this case, it is pretty typical, but it shows, here's the mapping tools. I put in the center, that shows me the bullseye. I know the area, so I know this is the neighborhood. Neighborhood areas a lot of times are the same builders too. So when you're thinking of a neighborhood area, you're looking at houses that are kind of the same lot size. And when you're looking at, are these all the same lot sizes? That's a big one. And then the year it was built is a big one. So you're getting the houses that are similar to your subject property. And in this case, these are the houses. When I did the quick CMA, or you could do a stats if you're in the neighbor or the Rhode Island. So I get here and I can see on the closed, which is where I can see the sale price, the average is 611, so it's slightly higher than the rest of the town, and the average sale price is 628. So, that is where you get wait, where am I closed? Sorry. Closed average is 621 and sale price is 628. So that is only about 1% over what it's going for based on based on the neighborhood. And this, I went back 6 months. Any questions? Sometimes in some areas, the neighborhood is a big downer, and it's good to know that if you're not familiar. So that's why I always look at the neighborhood and make sure I'm on track. Okay, so based on the neighborhood, I did find 3 more properties that I'm adding to my CMA that did not show up when I was just doing the assessed value. So if you limit what you're looking for too much, you'll miss things. So just to keep that in mind, that's why I do the 4 separate searches, and the last search I base solely on price. Once I figure out what the price is, and this is why I have had agents come to me and I look at their CMA and the house across the street sold. But because of the filters they put on their search, it didn't even come up. And it just makes you look like you don't know what you're doing if you leave something that's that close out. Even if it's not comparable, I would put it in and I would just have that conversation. This isn't really comparable, but I want to put it in so you can see what's happening in the neighborhood. So this is the same street, kind of a crazy looking house. And this is close. So I added these. And then I did a search based on 5 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, nothing came up. So I did just 5 bedrooms and 2 baths, and one came up that wasn't on my search so far, Arundel. So I put that one in there too, even though it's kind of low. So these are, when you're doing the research, you start to see. Then I did one based on price, and these came up. 700 to 900,000, because I thought, well, that really is, I think, my price. Okay, and now we're going to go to Moxie Present. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. I want to ask you guys how you feel about things. Is it making sense, Valeria?
Yeah.
Desiree?
So I have a question. So when you said you do 4 different searches. One's the neighborhood, one's the price, and what were the other two?
All right, I'm going to go back to that
Taxes?
page just to show you. Um, because that's why I put it into the presentation. So if you do get to the office, print out the presentation because it's like step by step. So
Yeah, is
here's
that a
the four search.
download? Because I looked for it.
Yep, it's a download.
Okay.
And it's on what page am I on? 13. It's on page 13.
Okay.
I can also, if you want, take a picture with your phone.
All right. I'll just do that. Okay. All right, I'm good.
Can you see how if you don't do separate searches, you'll miss?
Mhm.
comparables.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's really why I went through all these hoops. I want you to realize you really want to do four separate searches, and at the end, just do the price range so you don't miss.
Neighborhood. Right. Okay.
Oh,
All
wait,
right.
I'll be back. Hold on. Okay. Take a picture with your phone, people.
Yeah, I already got that one.
Okay.
But you also did you go from like MLS to
Yeah, so I also
PRP.
did RPR. I Googled it. I did ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
did RPR, so I know I'm not too far off in my thinking, but I honestly think the house that I picked is worth a little more than what they're saying here,
hmm
based on the fact that it's a restored Victorian property,
Yeah.
which is a little unusual. Okay, if it wasn't restored, I wouldn't think it was worth more. But
Right.
the materials that go into that are expensive. And you can feel it when you walk in the door. Something like that, when it's quality, you
Mhm.
feel it and you fall in love with it. And then that's all you want. It's like the difference between a gorgeous pocketbook and, a normal one that you use every day. Once you have it, you're like, oh, I couldn't live, I can't have another one. Until you go to try to buy it again. And you're like, I'm not spending that money. But it is the same thing.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So now we're doing
So now we're going to go. I have my number. So I wrote down all the MLS numbers,
hmm
and now I'm going to go to 21 Online and Moxie. So how do we do that? First, we go to 21 Online. Then we log in. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the menu. And then you're going to select Productivity Hub. Whoops, hold on, I'm not in the right place. Oh, yeah, yeah, up here. Productivity Hub. And then Moxie Present. And so, and then you click Moxie Present again. And once it downloads, once you get in there, this will come up again, this toolbar, once you're in Present, and you have to click.
hmm
And I'm telling you, you could do this whole CMA without doing what we just did. You could just go right to Moxie Present if you feel comfortable that you know what it's worth. Like it's a condo, you live in the area, you know what's happening. I just want you to be able to wrap your arms around the numbers so that when you're explaining it, you can tell people where you got the number from because you're going to get that analytical husband that's going to call you out and when you have a good answer, you just got the listing. Well, I thought the same thing, and then I saw this comparable, and so that's what you have to say something that makes people see what you're worth. Okay. So once you have that, all right, I'm just going to show you how to get into 21 Online because I know you people. All right, so here we are. I'm going into 21 Online. I logged in. Upper right-hand corner menu, go down to Productivity Hub. Click Productivity Hub, and it brings me here. I scroll down and I find Moxie Present. It's alphabetical. All right, Moxie Present is right, excuse me, right here. Clicking on it, and now I'm waiting for the toolbar to download up here. There it is, and I click Present again. Here we go. So then you're going to select Create New. So when you hit Create New, and this is the other thing, you might want to take a copy of the next 3 pages because this is where people get, confounded a little bit. You click Create New, and then it brings you here. You select Seller, Okay, so we have seller, and then we hit continue. So that's easy. Then we get here. This is hard. It says brokerage templates. You got to click on this drop down here. And then you select Century 21 Real Estate LLC company, and then you hit continue down here. Okay. So if you want to take a picture of that, do it. If you get stuck, call me. I will take a picture while I'm doing it and send it to you. Now I go to the next thing and I decide which presentation I want. In this case, I want the Fine Homes and Estates. So I'm picking that one. And the reason I picked it is because a lot of people have been talking about this one, and there are a lot of different versions, and this is the correct version, and it's really good, and it's all here. So you select Fine Homes and Estates, and then you hit continue again. Then it brings you here, and it's going to say, what are you going to call this presentation? And I always call it the address of the property. So I don't put the people's name in because I can't tell you how many times I misspell their name. So it's wise to put the address of the property, which is, if you misspell that, that's more forgivable than their name. And then I'm clicking create. So this and then create. Okay. And now I'm in the Moxie presentation. So this is a presentation name, not downloaded. If the house has been listed within the last 10 years, we can put the MLS number here and all the information will download. In this case, it has not, was 20 years ago. And so I have to completely fill everything out. So what I did was I created a snipping tool shot of the house and I saved it as a picture, a JPEG. And I click here to browse and I upload it. And then I filled in every one of these. So that I'm just going to share with you what that looks like. Okay. So I uploaded the picture from Snipping Tool. I just took a screenshot, saved it as a JPEG, and I was able to upload that. So that is right in Google. And then I added the year built, the tax amount, the tax year, parcel ID if you have it, you don't have to. The lot size. Oh, I should put the bedrooms, 5. And the baths. I actually had the bedrooms and baths, but I took it off of the filter. Okay, which I'll show you in a minute. All right. And then all the information about the property. That's here. So under features, all that information. And then I added remarks about the property, the fact that it is a Victorian and it's a beautiful home. When I was done, I click continue. Okay. And I added all the everything already. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. All right. So I put in here the location. All right. And I put that in and I hit search and everything popped up. Now, if there weren't things that popped up, I can click MLS here, which I did do, and all the MLS numbers that I copied down, I find it easier to just use those. So I did that. And clicked on MLS and I typed them in. To actually select the house, you click on the picture and that selects it. So let me go back. So I'm going to share with you the listings here. Okay, so these are listings. This was search. You can go back and forth on these. because I already put and then I added listings afterwards, so that's why it's there. If I click on location, it's not sharing it with me. So the other thing I do when I get here is I will take the filters out. So there are filters in here that have based on your information that you provided, it will put in the square footage, beds and baths, minimum, from 1 to 1.5 or 1 to 2, based on what you provide. And where you really find a problem is the lot size. Sometimes the lot size will restrict it so things don't show up. So I take out the lot size most of the time because it is telling you where it's located. And the default is this goes back only 6 months. So keep that in mind too. All right. And then, yeah, you should be seeing that there. And then the listings that I already selected, I don't want to mess around with it too much. It will undo what I did. So these are all of my comparables that I selected. Now, if you've been doing this in a long time in real estate, a lot of agents do, um, edit remarks. There are things you can do here to add your own 2 cents. You can adjust, for example, if I have 4 bedrooms instead of 5, I could adjust. But you have to know what you're doing when it comes to adjustments, and that's like the next level. So I don't teach that. All right, so click on the picture and that selects it. If something's selected and you don't want anymore, just click on it and it will deselect it. Okay, and then you're going to um, based on all the listings that we have, it does the estimated pricing and the estimated net proceeds. So the estimated pricing is automatic and it said 738, 150 based on my comparables. I could change that if I wanted to. I could create a range. And then I did remarks here. And the remarks I did are based on the 30 days that I searched. I went back 30 days. So West Hartford currently has 23 active list single-family homes. In the last 30 days, only 10 have come on the market that haven't sold. 29 have gone under contract and 29 have closed. Days on the market is currently 19, and the average home is selling 4% over list price. Average list price is 449, 945. Average close price is 465, 741. We are still in a seller's market. There is a scarcity of listings. Now is a great time to move. So I always put something there. And then we're going to select net proceeds to come up with for our listing strategy. So what do I mean by that? Our listing strategy. I'm going to stop sharing for a sec. So most agents say these words when they're talking to me and they're getting listing. I I want to get the most money and I want the people to see what I'm doing to get them the most money. Okay, and part of it is our listing strategy. And we're going to see next week when we do the listing presentation how we're going to involve the seller in that strategy. So one strategy, if you're in Connecticut and you have a scarcity of listings, is to talk about having 3 price ranges. So do a net proceeds based on a little bit under what it's worth, and then right where what it's worth is, and then a little over what it's worth. And you're hoping they're going to change a little bit under what it's worth. Why? Because you want to create a bidding war. We don't have a lot of listings. And you're going to see, I just saw a video over the weekend of like lines, people waiting to get into an open house, a line going down the street. So a bidding war will a lot of times get them more money, but not everyone wants to go through that. It's a lot. So maybe they want to put it at what they think it will sell for instead. Or maybe they want to start high. People that want to start high, what is usually the situation with them? Desiree, I know you know.
They're not motivated.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Desiree. What were you going to say? You're muted.
Less offers. What?
Yeah. So if you start high, you have less buyers looking at the house. So most of the buyers that are out there right now, they've been circling and maybe they've put in two or three offers on other houses and lost. So they know what the value is as much as we do because they're so in it. And if you're in a market like Florida right now where you have too much inventory, they know too. They're looking at what's selling. So if we start off too high, they may not even want to go look at it because they figure the sellers, they don't want to go through a multi-offer situation with somebody that's not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a, what do you do? So you let the seller decide what they want to do and you give them three options and let them do it. And then when we have to reduce the price, it's not us, it's they understand. They wanted to try it their own way, and that's okay. As long as they're motivated to sell, and you're right, they're probably less motivated. In Florida, they're probably not motivated at all because it's a buyer's market.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when we're doing the net proceeds, I'm going to do this live. You can do up to three different prices. So let me just show you what I mean. And I actually asked ChatGPT for help with this. So when I looked at the listing, it said that they bought it in, I believe, 19, 2004. They bought it in 2004 and they took out, well, I think I still have it on ChatGPT. Let me share it with you. Oh, whoop. Share. Okay. So here is an example, filling in the net sheet. So they bought it in 2005 for 410. Their mortgage was 410. 30-year fixed. At that time, the rates were about 6%. So if they bought it for 2005, 410, I asked ChatGPT, what would they owe today? And it said, based on what they paid a month, they would owe 203,000. So here, mortgage payoff, 203,000. Now, it could be that they've paid off more. It could be that they had a 15-year loan. I don't know what it exactly is, but if I don't know, I'll guesstimate something, and that's a good place to do it. And you can also ask them before you go out, what do you owe on your mortgage?
Huh.
Let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay. So based on the first sale price I have here is 750. So I only did two, but I would have done probably 700, 725, and 750. So I just did 700 and 750. And I honestly think it might sell for 800,000 though. So that's what's hard for me because I know if I walked in that house, probably all day long they would get that, but you never really know. So I don't want to overpromise. So I'd rather tell them what the numbers are telling us. Okay. So estimated sale price 750. This is what they owe. Then we have our brokerage fees. So I have what we're going to keep, what we're going to give out, and then the transfer tax in Connecticut. So it's half of three-quarters of 1%, and then it is half of 1% for the town of West Hartford. So based on those, and then we have attorneys. So it's not here. Where's the attorney fee? So I have there it is. The attorney fee is 1,000. So in Connecticut, we have attorneys. So based on 700, their net is 448. Based on 750, it's 495. So I would give them at this point the three different net sheets and ask them what they want to do. I don't know what I just did.
So is
That's,
that showing them like what it's gonna cost at the closing? Is that what that's doing?
yes, yes. You
Okay,
want to
because I,
always tell them what they're going to walk away with.
yeah, because I did the presentation and it had closing costs, but it was empty.
You have to fill it in.
Okay, yeah, they didn't teach us that. Okay.
So that's why I asked ChatGPT what their mortgage is. And I would call a title company in your area and have them help you with this. Say,
Okay.
I don't tell them don't tell them the property ever. Just tell them what um, what they owe, and what the because what we don't know is what they charge. What does the title company charge? That's really what you need to know.
Okay.
And then what is a transfer fee in Florida? What is a transfer fee in Naples?
Okay.
Okay. We pay our taxes in advance. So we don't have to put the taxes in here because they usually get a credit on the taxes. They don't have to pay anything.
Yeah, it's like that here, depending if it's the first 6 months or the last 6 months.
Yeah. And we do have one town, Wallingford, two towns. Wallingford, I think Seymour and Meriden, those three towns pay their taxes in arrears. So they actually do have to pay. So it depends on where it's located, but most of the areas they don't.
Yeah, because they can either get a credit or they have to pay.
Okay, excellent. So now we got all the comps, and now we're in the finished product of the Moxie Present listing presentation. So this is what this looks like. Okay, so these are the first 3 pages, and it tells them some good stuff, which I want you to internalize because we're going to talk about this next week. But we're doing luxury. So I would do this in Naples, I would do this in West Hartford, and then talk about what our reach as Century 21 is in this type of property and how we are going to sell their house and the brand recognition and the fact that we're international. We are in 79 countries, and a lot of people coming here are from everywhere, or they have family that lives here, and they have friends and family that are thinking of moving here. Okay, and then we have what the buyer is looking for and how we have that online scene dominated with 1.3 million visits a month. And you're going to want to read this and more about our digital ad campaigns, artificial intelligence, and all of the tools that we use. Okay. And then, what they can expect from us. And then it gets into the CMA. So here is the actual CMA itself, the pages. Now, I didn't do all the pages. I just showed you an example, but it's a nice look. And this is the print version. Okay, so you can see at first it shows you every single house, has a overview and of the town and then and the subject property. And then it gets into each house. And then it has all the pictures of every house. And then on this one, you can actually look at each house and look at, square footage, beds, baths, taxes, those kind of things. So you can compare by the taxes a lot of times, if you're looking for a good guidepost. I like assessed value, but if I don't have that, I'll do the taxes. Okay. So let me just show you really what it looks like.
How many pages is that?
Let me look. Hold on. Okay. We're 21 online. Where are you? There we go. All right. So it's more pages than 20. I'm going to go to the pages. Okay, so this has the listing presentation first. And you know what? I'm going to view, I'm going to give you guys a link to this. I'm going to put it in the chat.
So would you just email that to them or you would print it out?
I would print it out. All right. I just put the link in the chat.
Okay.
So if you want to, you can look at it. When you first go in, you're here in the presentation and you want to click scroll down. I just hit the down button on my computer or that. And then it goes over here on the right lower area is the menu. So see that those little lines, and it has each one of these, and then you can see if they, and they'll see this too when you send it. They can go right to the net proceeds, and that's what it looks like. So it's pretty cool. So that would be selling price of 700 or selling price of 750. And then I can go back up to, this is what we're going to cover next week are these. And there's 17 pages. You can take out some of the pages if you want to.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's up to you, but I think having our brand reach is important. I wouldn't take those pages out. 130,000 agents, 79 countries, 11,000 offices.
Yeah, when I printed the presentation to myself, I didn't see all of those pages.
They are there. You didn't pick the right one. That's why. You probably
Yeah.
picked the
I
company one.
I didn't do the luxury.
No, it doesn't matter. I know
No.
what you did. I'll show you what you did in a minute.
All right. Yeah, no, we'll do that next week.
Okay.
'Cause they showed us a little different. Like I never saw this like 3 lines on the right-hand side.
Yeah, well, this is in the presentation itself. So now this is the first part of the CMA. And when you print it out, what's nice is you can decide whether you want to go through the how I'm going to get you the most money first or what your home is worth. So it's up to you. I like doing how I'm going to get you the most money first.
Yeah.
So, and then now let's look at what your house is worth. So we'll go over that next week.
Okay.
But this is the property information, and this is what I put here. Step back in time to this beautiful, beautiful Victorian home. Original oak wood work, charming parlor, opens to fireplace, dining, high ceiling, French doors, crown molding, first floor family room, plus office, central air, updated eating kitchen, updated baths. I actually copied that from the original listing from 20 years ago. So, and then here's my comps, and then it shows each comp. So if I want to see them, I can click on it here, I can click on it here, and I can see more information. It will bring me right to it. So I like that. Oops. I don't know how I got here.
But if you print that out, they won't be able to do that.
Right. Yeah, true. Okay, so this was the first page, then I go to the next one. And this is that view that we talked about. Now, honestly, I wouldn't use all these comps. Like I wouldn't use this one because this is a new construction. But I just put everything in there and I sort of wanted to see what you guys thought. But we don't really have the time.
Okay.
And I like this. So you could, if you wanted to, just have this and take out some of the others because it compares them, square footage wise. So you have your subject property first. And then you can see the ages, you can see this. Why didn't the square, so the square footage didn't take. I took it out when I did a search, so now I know, put it back in at the end. So it compare, but ours is 2,542 or something like that. So I can compare it to these other ones.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And then it goes into status comparisons. So I just put, oh, that's why I put the new construction one in, because it was the only one on the market. There are no houses similar on the market, but there is one pending, and these are all sold, 10 sold. And then we have the home averages by beds. So the 5 bedrooms is more. And the days on the market is less. And then we have it based on price and size. Price and days on market. So the higher the price, the more days on the market, which is normal. And this is price and size. So the bigger the house, the more it's worth. Okay, and then there's the pricing analysis that came out automatically based on the comps, which I could have changed. And then it has the 2 net proceeds. And then my info, and that's it. So you must have some questions, but we are done. I'd like you all to do a CMA on something. If not your own house, on another house, do something so you'll get to know your marketplace better. It probably will take you, when you first start doing this, it'll probably take you at least an hour, maybe 2, to do this. Because you're really wrapping your head around the 4 searches and how could mine be similar.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's going to make sense. And the more you do these, the better you're going to get.
Okay.
Okay. And don't forget, we always start with the big picture. So know the statistics like we learned last year. So that said, hopefully you are making your daily contacts, posts, and having fun with it. And anybody have any success stories they want to share? Did anybody post anything last week?
What do I post? I usually post like 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay, good.
Yes.
What did you post, Tanya?
I post a reel on IG.
Oh, what do you mean?
Like I did something on Canva because I started
Okay.
working with it because they're giving us Canva for free. So I was able to do a little bit more with that, which was
A
good.
reel. You posted a reel.
A reel,
Cool.
yeah. Yep.
Oh, I love it. I'm gonna go look it up.
Okay.
Anybody else? Maxwell, any questions?
Sure. So I also posted a reel on my IG and my Facebook as well. It was I think an inspection that we had, so I just posted it.
Oh, I gotta befriend you. So that would be in Facebook that you did it?
Yeah, and IG
What's
as well.
IG?
Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All
That's fine.
right. I'm so hip.
All right.
Anybody else? All right. For those of you that haven't, go do it. Do the something, even the statistics from what we just learned. It's worth it. All right. Well, thank you for coming. Sorry we're a little late. Have a great day. I'll be doing this again tonight. Enjoy your week. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
All
Thank
right.
you. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Thank you. See you
Thank
later.
you.